In part 2, Vanessa and I speak about her business, vanessare.com, and why she created it. As Vanessa was struggling with what to do in her career, a friend of hers knew she dabbled in making jewellery and encouraged her to try and maybe set up her own business. So while Vanessa upskilled, she faced a number of challenges along the way. Leaving her career and finding a new identity was particularly scary. However, she wasn't afraid to ask for help. So Vanessa reached out to learn from others and hear their advice. Vanessa believes that everything is fixable and can be worked out. After finding a way to reinvent herself, she shares the moments that propelled her towards happiness. Here we go. I think we'll get to it a little bit later on, but I think it'd be good now to talk about what it is indeed that you did create and why you created it.
You mean business-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the fun bit. That is why we're here. Thank you for pulling me back.
Don't worry.
I set up after the years in advertising, and actually halfway through them, I've always been making precious jewellery. I attended NCAD and the School of Jewellery of Ireland. Night courses, month courses, whenever I could, as much as I could, to learn the skills of metalsmithing. So I set up Vanessa jewellery. It's a concept. See how I brought in advertising there? It is a concept contemporary Irish jewellery brand. And I design and handcraft everything myself. And I freaking love it. The reason I do it is because jewelry is always something I've been into. And I did all these courses, and I used to wear my jewelry around a lot, and people would always comment, like I'd be stopped on the street or in work, they'd be like, oh my God, where did you get that? And I'd be like, well, I made it. And then people started asking me to make things for them. And then a good friend of mine, Babs Cheney, said, Vanessa, you should set up your own business.
I know Babs.
And I was like,
brilliant.
You know Babs.
He's brilliant.
Another legend. It's an awful lot of legends in Adland, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. So I did. I did just exactly that. I literally, in a weekend, I had handed my notice in to my permanent successful career, and I started a course on Monday. Lovely timing there with the School of Jewellery of Ireland, and I really, for the guts of 6 months, honed my metalsmithing skills, and I was completely immersed in the world of creating precious jewellery and design. And I also simultaneously did an online start your own jewellery business course, clearly not available in Ireland, but that is what I did. And I brought all of the skills that I had learned from the guts of 20 years in Adland into what I'm doing now. So I launched my business about a year ago. I developed my own collection. So in jewellery, we talk collections like you would in fashion, I suppose. But because my work is made by myself, I can only make so many. So plus I want my customers or my clients to appreciate what they have and know that there's only a limited collection available. So I will only ever make 25 pieces or maybe tops 30 pieces of a particular style or design. Because I want the client to have something special, and because I don't want to get creatively bored, and I don't want to just become a manufacturing machine. And that's how kind of artists and designers evolve. The difference between what I do and what everybody else does, and again, this is my experience from advertising kind of coming in, is what's my USP? So what I do is I create beautiful jewelry. Well, I think it's beautiful. I'm biased, but I make jewelry. I create. Thank you very much. Feel free to buy.
And anybody watching this on YouTube can actually see some of the jewelry here in show.
if you're not wearing it, what are you doing? But my USP is to make beautiful jewelry, as all other jewelers do make in their own unique style. It's handcrafted by me, and it's concept led. Now, what I mean by concept led is, like, a lot of jewelers they make pieces based on their skill set. I don't just do that, but I inject a meaning into it. And what I mean by meaning, without sounding like a total tool, is that when you, for instance, wear an engagement ring, it's a sign that I am promised to be married to somebody. When I wear a wedding ring, it means that I am married to that somebody. And what I'm doing is basically taking a core thought. So, for instance, adversity or independence, and I reflect that in a 3D artistic interpretation that you can wear. It's made in gold, it's made in silver, platinum, mixed materials. I also merge like silver or gold with plastic and resin and wood and this sort of stuff. So it literally is wearable art. The concept part is my unique piece, really. And for me, it's important because it's not just based on trends. It's not just based on fast fashion, but you are investing in this piece that you can wear, and you can kind of, because, for instance, the adversity piece, if everybody's been through some sort of adversity, and if you like the piece, you can actually now wear it to nearly like a tattoo. When you get a tattoo, it's because it means something to you. You get it as a memory or of a time, or to reflect somebody that you loved. This is what you're doing with my jewelry. And I know that sounds like total waffle to
No, but
people, but
it's
you
kind
can
of
just
like,
buy it because you like to
no,
look
but
at it if you like.
no, but
But that's
it's
how
like
I
it's like
make
a
my
badge. It's like a badge of honor in a way, if you're
yeah,
wearing it, right? So if you're, because as you say, everybody has their own story and has their own adversity story or challenging story, or independent story, or whatever it is. So
yep,
by investing in that with you, it's nearly kind of to nearly showcase. Do you know what? That's a little reminder of the challenge I've faced or the success I've received or whatever. I think it's
that
beautiful.
is
I think
exactly what I'm trying to say.
that's a beautiful. I think it's a beautiful way of doing it because it's so different, right? Like, you normally
Mm.
buy stuff off the shelf and everybody could have a whatever brand earring or necklace or whatever, and it's like all of a sudden you see people and they have the same thing, and you're like, what? So it loses its value. Whereas because you've got such a shortage of amount produced.
We call it limited, not short.
Limited, sorry. Yeah, see, I don't know the lingo as well as you. A limited production, but it creates the value, right?
Exactly,
And then
exactly.
I think that's amazing. And how has the response been?
Well, great. So I know, as an Irish person, we don't really toot our own horns, but like,
We should.
I am so happy with how my first 6 months, or sorry, no, my last year went, even though we were in a pandemic. I suppose a key thing is that because of my experience in advertising, and I could see the steady decline of the high street. And also, I didn't want to be in the high street. The high street, everything is the same. Like, it's literally the McDonaldization of society. And that is not me. And that is not my brand. It's not for everybody. It is only for the people that like it and want to invest in it. So I decided that I wasn't going to sell. Now, this might change in the future, but my current sales strategy is directly to customer and e-commerce. So, it meant that I wasn't going wholesale. It meant that I could create chunkier pieces of precious metal without a store taking so much margin from the actual piece. I suppose I get more money, but my customer gets more bullion. And
Mm,
that's kind of a fundamental, because the trend at the moment is for so much small, dainty little pieces of jewelry, and they're lovely. But the economic and actual reason behind that is because there is a middleman taking a large
yeah,
markup.
yeah,
And I just don't want to do that. I don't
yeah.
see the value in that at
Well,
the moment.
the fact that people
So
can
that's
go directly to you though, and actually and nearly deal with you directly, I suppose there's a service aspect of that as well, is that you feel a bit more important, and there's a bit more care, because like for example, anything intimate in life, when you do things, the people that actually show interest, so whether it is you're getting married, or whether it is you're having a big event or anniversary or something, and those people who are helping you prepare it, when you're dealing with the real people who are on the ground doing the nitty gritty, and they understand what you're trying to achieve, you feel so much more valued, and you feel so much more appreciated. And I think that's what I think is also brilliant on your side, is that you're the person they talk to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and at the moment, honestly, that couldn't be more true, because I am literally, I can't show people my work other than that they're online. If normally I'd meet up with people and share them my actual pieces, but we can't do that. So right now I am best mates with the postmistress, and I am down to the post office sending off my pieces, getting them to try them on. They send them back. I fix them up. And it's like this.
That should be your social media timeline now. Monday.
I have besties with the postmistress.
So tell me this, all right? So while we're talking about this, then I think it'd be interesting to just get your take on like the type of advice you would give people who are considering to go out on their own in business, or to maybe not so much to go out on their own in business, but essentially to follow their passion if they're finding things a little bit difficult right now. What advice would you give them?
I think the first thing is, if you need to just work out the risk versus reward down to the very basic things, like what is the risk involved, what is the reward, and you literally list them. And when you're comfortable with the risks that you're going to be taking, and you see the benefits of those risks, then it makes the decision a lot easier. So, because for me, unless you actually ground it, you get it down, it's too up here and it becomes too scary and too intangible. But if you literally articulate that in a risk and reward list, then you realize it's not actually as daunting as you thought it was. That's the first thing. The second thing is, this is like nearly like basic CV things, but the skills that you've learned, you can easily apply them across loads of different industries and whatever it is that you want to get into. And I think people feel, well, I mean, I did as well, pigeonholed a lot. And this is what I'm trained in, this is what my degree might be in, and this is what I have to do. But that's not at all the case, because at the end of the day, if you're wholly invested in something, and I mean in your heart, then you will go and you will make that happen. And that's my own experience. Like, I'm invested in my family. I was invested in myself, in my work, and I just changed it. When that wasn't making sense anymore, I changed it. And I suppose one other thing is that you, like, every day, like, I work on my own. I deal with suppliers and I deal with people over the phone and all the rest of it, but fundamentally I'm on my own. And the imposter syndrome kicks in quite regularly. And then I have to say, hello, Mr. Imposter, how are you? Now you may get back in your box, because I have as much right to be here as everybody else. And, you hear all these people that they're like on podcasts and they're being interviewed by Graham Norton or whoever else, and they're just fabulous and oozing stuff. But on the inside, you have to always remember that person, although they look like a superstar, is only just a person and has the same issues and fears as I do. And I can do this, because I suppose that's another thing, is the imposter syndrome. But the final thing I would just like to say on this question is, it's totally gone out of my head. That's so helpful.
Don't worry, we can come back to it. Don't worry. So we were at imposter syndrome, and then we were on to something final. But don't worry.
Oh yes, I've got it. There
you go. See, I'm here to remind you.
Every day we have problems, and especially when you run your own business. Like, I don't even have anybody to talk to about these things. I could go into Barry, but like my husband, but I mean, he's like, I'm talking about hammering a piece of jewelry together and how can I make this metal thing work, for instance. He hasn't a breeze. So I have to work this out myself, My point is that everything is figure outable.
I like
So
that.
you just have
That could be the name of the podcast. I've named of this episode. Everything is figure outable.
Everything is figure outable. You have to kind of face what the issue is head on, and you have to kind of, for me, I internalize this a lot, and I just have to go, okay, yucky tummy feeling, this is a problem, shit, okay, park it, go off, think about it, and then come back and go, okay, I'm going to put this out on a Facebook group and I'm going to ask those people, see what comes back. I am going to ring a previous designer I used to work with and see what they have to say about it. Or there's always people you can ask, and there's always a solution to a problem. And it just might take time to get there. And it's to have the patience to get there. That's all.
I think that's a sign of a really good leader as well, though, if you look at it, because it's obviously people go to certain people of seniority and ask them for the answers, whereas the real good leaders who have the challenges and the problems and the issues, they aren't afraid to get others involved to help them find a solution. And I think that's probably separates some brilliant kind of entrepreneurs and leaders through to those who are simply want to have too much pride to ask those people for help and ask somebody for a bit of guidance. I think that's a really, really good point. And I think where you're being really successful in terms of, from this conversation, it seems that you have at different stages of challenges that you faced, you've asked for help, and you haven't been afraid to ask for help. And not saying that that's the only thing, but that seems to be a theme in a lot of the conversations that I'm having. And those who are being successful or seen to be successful are the ones who aren't precious about showing vulnerability. And I suppose that goes back to, another question that I would have for you is that there's the story is very, very positive and it's very uplifting, and I think there's a lot to take out of it. I suppose the challenge, what was the biggest personal challenge you faced before you went into this, before you decided to set up this business?
I suppose, so I'll talk about like what pushed me to making the decision, but the biggest challenge was I had always, my identity was tied up in my work. It was tied up. I was so proud of working in the agencies that I worked in. I was so proud of delivering the work for clients that I did and changing their figures. Proud of adding to the bottom line. I was proud of the creative campaigns and the person that I had become. And I had to cut those ties and learn how to reinvent myself. And I had to understand that I no longer could rely on other people to help make me happy. I had to be happy within myself and to be happy with the decisions that I was making. But it did involve a change in how I identified myself. So I suppose the kind of, when I realized this, my son, I was driving the two lads into town. I think we were going to tennis training or something mundane like that. I now get to do these things with them during the week. Deadly. Well, normally, not in lockdown time. Anyway, Emil, he's 9 and he pipes up in the back and he says, "Mom, it's good kind of quiet time, pondering time." He goes, "Mom, do you have your own business?" And I was like, yeah, I do, Emil. Yeah. We can pass a few moments and then he goes, "So does that mean that you're the boss?" And I was like, yeah, I guess I am. Yeah, I am the boss. I am the boss. And he goes, "That's cool." And then in front, I was like, "I've made it." But that, to me, that was just so special because he had seen he just in that moment, I realized that I was managing to be a proper mum, to be a proper family person, and to also be doing the work that I loved doing. And I love it so much. I even love the shitty bits, but I don't even call it work. I call it work to get the kids out of the studio. But like, other than that, it's just my passion. It's what I do. And it was the right decision to make. But I had to, as I said, cut off my old world and my old
Mhm.
me and be comfortable with the new me.
And what do you say to
There you go.
people who are worried and think it might be too late to do that? You know, because you
I'm in my
with
40s. It's not. It's
well, I suppose that's the thing, is that so with so much evolution of technology, and so things are happening so fast, and people are like coming out of college and just simply want to be entrepreneurs. They don't necessarily want to go into the workforce because they've got so many cool ideas, right? But what do you say to those people who, like, I think what you've done over the last 20 years has been brilliant, and I had the pleasure to work with you and alongside you, and we became pals, right? But like, there's a fear when people get to a certain point where they go, it's too late, I can't do it, there's no point now, look, sure, I'm after doing this, I've invested all this time in it, sure, it'd be just a waste of the last 20 years. Like, what do you say to those people
Well,
who are conflicted?
you only get one life.
Mm.
You've got to live your best one. And again, I just, for me, it was I made the change because I looked at the kids and I went, Jesus Christ, they're only on loan to me and then they're gone. And
Mhm.
I want to have that time with them. So for the people starting out, I would say all experience is good experience. But when things are not working out well for you and you're just not happy in yourself, it's time to make a change. And I know I'm not the only person kind of in the middle of their lives, because really, I know that because when I started picking my children up from school, I was not the only person there that had quit their jobs and started again. I there was mums and dads like there who just went, I can't do this sales job where I'm spending, no joke, like 600 euros a week on coffee just so I can stay awake as I drive all over the country to meet the clients, to do the sales deals, da 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 da. I mean, the lad had his eyes hanging down here,
Mm.
and he just said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to be dead. Imagine saying, I
Yeah, and
can't, I can't live that life because what am I doing? I'm on a treadmill for what?
yeah,
And he went back and he retrained and he became an SNA in a primary school. And I just thought that is inspiring because,
absolutely.
like, a special needs assistant is an SNA.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
he just, and
Well,
I and there was other people that gave up careers in psychology to become like quantity surveyors, or there was just other people that were in the same situation as me, and we're all doing completely different things, and we all were before, but it's to say that you're never too late to start again, and you have to live your best life.
yeah, and I
Never.
think you look at, if people just take a step back and look around them, they see a lot of people who are literally mirror versions of themselves of their own lives. It's just that they
Mm,
don't, because life is running so fast, you don't actually take in what's going on around you. And I remember a really interesting point that Brezzi actually made when he was. I used to do a bit of work with the National Dairy Council and do a bit of work on kind of transition your students, and he went and gave it a talk, and he was basically just talking about his life in terms of his professional life when he was playing rugby, and how it was so important, but to play rugby, and everybody was expecting so much out of him, but he found that he was dealing with massive amount of anxiety, and he was like, I'm
mm,
this big rugby guy, I should play, I shouldn't have this to worry about this. I can't tell anybody. I can't tell anybody. Right. So he went on for years to the point where he had to actually
mm,
stop playing because of it. But what he
mm,
found out was that when he spoke about it to similar people in a similar situation, he didn't realize that there was a lot of other guys who were in the exact same boat, who were feeling the exact same way. And then all of a sudden it kind of normalizes it. And I think what you just said there is that if people do speak about it or take a step back and look about what's going on, it all of a sudden becomes a normalized state of affairs, and go, actually, do you know what? If they can do it, I can do it.
mm.
So I'm not on my own. We're kind of all in this together, even though we're doing totally different things. But you're bringing on similar challenges, or you're taking on similar challenges, and knocking them out of the park, you know.
Yeah, I think like the motivations were similar. It was just like, I've done the best I can do in this, and it's
Yeah.
killing me. It's not making me happy anymore. And what sort of a person are you if I suppose you can't make other people happy until you're happy within yourself.
Hmm. Amen.
That
I
for me
completely agree
is
with that.
a fundamental thing. But I mean, starting your own business, it is not for the faint-hearted, and it is not easy. It is harder work, longer hours, but they're my hours and it's my work.
Yeah.
And you are completely invested and have skin in the game.
And it's your passion.
The beauty for me is that it's my passion, but it's also, it allows me the flexibility that I need, and not in a, well, flexible working, sure, you can work from home, but you'll actually work 20 hours out of 24 instead of, from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Go
No,
away.
no, no. But it allows you plan around
But
your family. It allows you have those moments with with your family that, and you go back to the very
yeah.
beginning, is like, what is the thing that is your priority? And it was like ensuring that your kids got an opportunity to grow up in a environment that you wanted for them, and that you
Positive one.
and
Yeah.
and that you were in a happy mindset, you know.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for me,
And
I think that's what's inspiring out of this, is that you had the courage to stop, to regroup. You first of all knew that you didn't have all the answers, so you went off and learned and upskilled. And now with technology, you have this ability to upskill in so many different things and figure out what you like and what you don't like. But you went and followed
mm,
that passion and upskilled, and then turned that skill and the skills that you learned in the previous 20 years into a
mm,
business.
into a
um
business. Exactly. And the thing is what I do, most people, they start a business based on a need state, and they are fulfilling a gap in the market. My gap is a luxury, self-indulgent gap, but it's a gap.
yeah.
and and it's a creative enterprise. And whenever somebody buys something from me, I write them a note to say thank you, because without their custom, my dream is going to fall flat on its face,
Yeah.
and I'll just have to pick myself back up again.
But
but
you can,
um,
I suppose you've
but
shown that you can do that, and I think.
yeah, but I suppose the thing is, it's a small little thing, but to say thank you to people. And I suppose this kind of brings me to the kind of three key things I would say to people, just to kind of finish up, I suppose, really, Stephen, is when you thank people, and it's the kindness economy. You just show that you value their support. It is another way of of getting the best out of people, and
Hmm.
showing them your best.
Yeah.
I always did that in advertising. I always I suppose congratulated people when they'd done a good job, and thanked them when their work was great, and thanked them even when it wasn't, and guided them in the right direction. But I think it's what Mary Portas, she's that UK lady, she's pretty cool. She calls it the kindness economy, and I firmly believe in it, because without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Um, and yeah, it's the everything is figure outable, and it's the feel the fear and do it anyway, because once you face your fear head on and understand what's the worst that's going to happen, you can just get on with it and do it.
Yeah, I think that's
That's my biggest thing. Like, I walk
incredible.
around half the time feeling like I'm going to puke, but like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, like, and you know what?
it's
It's just
it's
when you get into a place of uncomfort, making uncomfortable become comfortable. You know, then it becomes second
exactly it.
nature to you. You know, and I love that. Like,
Yeah.
so if people were to try and reach out to you, where would they go and how could they do it? And equally, where could they see your lovely collections?
Oh, thank you for a little promotion. Always helpful. My website that I built myself, that was a new skill, let me tell you, is Vanessa or ee.com. Uh, the Re is basically because I love sailing on Loch Ree, on the Shannon. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at Vanessa _concept_jewelry, because that's what I do. And
Amazing.
my internet connection is unstable. Thank you, Broadband Ireland. And then lastly, I'm also on LinkedIn just as Vanessa Murtagh.
Okay, amazing. And I have one final question
So
for you then. So I just
yeah.
wanted to,
Oh,
I asked this,
I covered all bases.
what's that?
I thought I'd covered all bases, but go on.
No. So maybe you did, and maybe it's going to be a repeat, but anyway, we'll see. So if you had an opportunity to leave a message behind and you had to write it on a piece of paper and share it with the world, what would it be?
Just one. I don't really do ones. I do threes.
No, we got one.
I'm only
One is the
joking.
key. I know you can have three. You
It
can
would
have three if you
be,
want.
quite frankly, no, it would be don't be a dick, firstly. That's back to my kindness economy thing, right? It costs you nothing to be decent to people, and it will always come back and pay back to you. Number one. Number two is I've said it before, so I'm just going to reiterate it. It's feel the fear, face it, and overcome it, and get on with it. I listen to a lot of inspiring podcasts and stuff because I'm on my Toblerone here, so it's not, and I need to learn. I'm constantly looking to learn. But that and historic fighting movies I like too. But anyway, feel the fear, and then it's there's a solution to everything. Everything is workoutable. Sorry, I can't say that properly, but you get my drift.
Lovely, yeah.
That
No,
they're the three fundamental things for me. Because it's there's always challenges in life, and also like people, you blow things up in your mind that, oh well, I mean, they're doing that and they're really successful at that and da da da. And in my experience in life is there's an awful lot of hot air out there. And I know, and myself, and once you're honest with yourself, that I'm producing a good product, and I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. Sometimes blood as well in real life, because I have hammers and saws and everything. But once you absolutely believe in what you're doing, and you are aware of the fear that's there, and you will find a way of overcoming it, and you will get there. And that's all I can do. All I can say is just
that's fantastic. That's fantastic,
B.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all the time and the honesty on that. I think. Say again. Sorry.
Sorry. I said I feel like I've been in a therapy session.
Do you? Well, do you know what?
You're not because I've only talked to pastors today.
You're not the first person to say that to me. Previous guest Tina Katari said that, and in fairness, Tina was the therapist. So maybe there's something. Maybe I need to look into that. I don't know. But
I'm just saying, this could be the start of a new career.
Could be a new venture. You never know. But come here, listen, thank you so much for being honest with me, and also sharing your story, because obviously having seen you create the new business, Vanessa E Jewelry, and actually go from strength to strength is brilliant. And I wish you all the best, and I obviously happy to help and promote, and anything that I can do to help. Jesus, just let me know. But
you're a total legend. I mean, so far this has been great. Like with the business, I've gotten a lot of publicity. Actually, that's hugely helped me. I got in the Irish Times, like, yay! Totally got my
you got your columns.
Reached one of my targets last year. I got in the Sunday magazine, or Saturday even. It's but thank you. I really do appreciate it, and thanks for talking to me and like allowing me to kind of tell my story. And I do hope that if people find themselves in a similar position, that my little story can help them make a decision. So,
listen, I've no doubt it will, and I've no doubt. I'm sure people will reach out, and if anybody obviously wants to reach out to me to get in touch with you, happy days. Any questions they can just share with me, and I can pass them on. But Vanessa, for now, Here we go,
Yes.
2021. Good luck in the future with Vanessa Jewelry and see what happens.
Bye.
What I take out of this conversation is to not be afraid. Don't be afraid to find your passion. And as Vanessa says, you only get one life, so you got to live your best one. If you're looking for happiness, the only place you'll find it is with you. No one can give you happiness. It begins and ends with you. So take a look at yourself now and ask yourself, are you happy? Because if you're not, don't be afraid to make a change. Don't be afraid to find your happiness. Until next time, I hope you find your happiness. Stay up to date on all future episodes by hitting the subscribe option, or if you want to find out more, visit whatmakesyoutick.net.